Tonight, President Akufo-Addo declares never again over the return of Dumsor as he jabs former President Mahama with the commissioning of a 515 megawatt power plant under the Ghana Bridge Power Project.
We send a clear message to every Ghanaian. Ghana will no longer be held back by the energy shortages of the past. We are overcoming the barriers that once stood in our way.
But the controversy over the independent power producers feud rages on as Sono Nasogli's issue with the government over huge debt remains unresolved. We'll be hearing from the president tonight on the matter.
My administration is committed to addressing the financial obligations impacting our ability to meet obligations to these valued partners.
And Tosso is always brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, holding insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Never again. A declaration by President Akufo-Addo as he jabs former President Mahama over Dumsor. Now, the president has expressed optimism about resolving the country's intermittent power supply issues following the commissioning of a 515 megawatt power plant under the Ghana Bridge Power Project at Apawu near Tema. The $1.2 billion project is owned by Endeavour Energy, a leading U.S. independent power. The power generated will be sold to the Electricity Company of Ghana under a 25-year power purchase agreement. And commissioning the project, the President Akufo-Addo government, he says his government is aware of the destruction Dumsor caused under the former president, but also assured that their investments under the last in the last 8 years will ensure that it never returns.
Without a dependable source of electricity, industries cannot thrive. Schools cannot prepare the leaders of tomorrow, and healthcare facilities cannot deliver the care citizens deserve. All of us remember the unfortunate difficult periods of Dumsor between 2012 and 2016 under the presidency of the perennial NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama, when systematic power outages disrupted lives and livelihoods across the nation. Those challenging times tested our resilience and our resolve as a people. Today, as we stand together to inaugurate the Bridge Power Station, we send a clear message to every Ghanaian. Ghana will no longer be held back by the energy shortages of the past. We are rising above these challenges and creating a future in which our energy supply supports our ambitions, not limits them. We are overcoming the barriers that once stood in our way. Endeavour Energy's partnership with Ghana is more than just an investment. It is a pledge to support our nation's ambitions through affordable, reliable power. With this facility, we are ensuring that the power needs of today are met whilst preparing for the demands of the future. The Bridge Power Station will provide critically needed megawatts to our national grid, immediately reducing pressure on our existing infrastructure.
Well, this particular project comes on stream 515 megawatts amidst the ongoing challenges with power supply resulting from the shutdown of the Sono Nasogli plant over a $200 million debt. It appears that is still unresolved. The president himself concedes that and says he's doing everything to resolve that challenge, not only with Sono Nasogli, but with the rest of the IPPs.
I must recognize the contributions of independent power producers who have invested significantly to support our energy needs. These partners have been instrumental in enhancing our power capacity. My administration is committed to addressing the financial obligations impacting our ability to meet obligations to these valued partners. Together, we will build a sustainable, reliable energy future. We celebrate the dawn of a new era in Ghana's energy journey, one filled with strength, resilience, hope, and promise. Let us ensure that the Bridge Power Station remains a beacon of Ghana's vision, a shining testament to what we can accomplish when united for the common good.
Well, I want to bring in right now as CEO of the Independent Power Producers, Dr. Emefa Petokbo joins us right now on the line. Doc, thanks for your time here on Top Story. You were owed some money. I want to deal first with this Ononasogli challenge. Has this been resolved?
Thank you very much, Evans. Thank you. Good evening to you and to your listeners. Asogli is still unpaid, and we are still idle. We are not working.
You started a conversation with the government over this. How far did it travel, and what has been the outcome?
We've had series of conversations regarding our debt position. Government has made promises. To say they've not been able to honor any of the promises. So for conversation, we are in that day in, day out.
You said they've been made promises, but exactly. No commitment so far.
No payment has been received.
But what's the challenge?
We've not received any tangible reason for not being paid as we speak, because these are promises they themselves made with specific date, time attached, but have not honored it. So whatever the reason is, as we speak now, I cannot tell.
So the plant remains shut down. You must be losing during this period. This is a period that you should be producing because you owe, don't you, yourselves? It costs so much to produce the power.
Exactly. And we have reached a stage that we cannot just operate the power plant because the fund is not there to keep it on. It's very costly to run a power plant.
The government said they simply haven't got the money, or they need to reconcile how much you're claiming they owe you.
There is nothing about reconciliation. This reconciliation is something we do on a monthly basis. So that is actually not part of it.
I understand that last month, the finance minister directed the controller to pay Ononasogli $30 million. Do you know about this?
Yes, we received that notification that he has instructed the controller to pay, but we have not received even a peso out of that.
Have you followed up to see clarity on why that directive has been given, but you don't have the money?
No reason has been assigned, and we follow that on daily or even hourly basis. No reason at all has been assigned to why the payment has not been made to us.
In the midst of that, though, how do you plan to recover what you're owed? Because that amount of money is quite significant. You're talking about more than $259 million.
Well, this is let me say, the protest action that we can take as far as the debt is concerned to shut down, because simply we cannot continue to run. And this is a debt hanging on ECG. So ECG must be coming out with ways to settle this debt.
The cash waterfall mechanism was set up to deal with this. On a monthly basis, you're not getting your due?
We are getting allocations out of the cash waterfall. But mind you, the cash waterfall was not to satisfy our dues. It's just to provide a fair platform of sharing whatever comes in. So for us to attain that level of sufficiency, it's not an issue of cash waterfall, but how much ECG is able to generate into that waterfall.
Early this year, you were on one of my shows with the former ECG boss, and at the time, there were some negotiations that arrived at the conclusion that the ECG will remain current on what they owe you. Have they remained current since that agreement was reached?
It's very unfortunate. From this beginning of this year to date, ECG has been paying out of the cash out only 30% of the current invoices, less than 30% actually. The year has been a very bad one. In fact, what we have accumulated in terms of our current invoices is actually over 70% of the total monthly invoices.
From what I understand, the Sonona-Sogli plant isn't the only plant in this particular quagmire, but all others are still operating. Why the difference? Why the difference in approach to dealing with the subject? You're not the only entity owed.
All is not well, my brother. I can tell you, if nothing is done by the end of this week, next week, 3 key power plants will shut down.
Which power plants are these?
For now, it's confidential. But I can tell you, if nothing is done, 3 key IPPs will be shutting down as well.
And this is purely down to the debt.
Exactly.
You are the CEO of the Independent Power Producers Group. How much in total are you all owed? Do you know?
We've lost count of it. Like I said, the whole of the year has been a bad one. Nothing has really changed. It's still in the range of 2 billion plus.
2 billion. There was some reconciliation that was supposed to happen. Did that happen?
There is no difference that reconciliation will bring out, because for us, we are very up to date with our numbers on monthly basis, so we know what we are talking about. I made it clear some time ago to you that government does not really know how to account for the power sector figures. They only take our monthly voices and be adding and subtracting how much they are paid. So you don't even have to trust figures coming from them.
You've said that if the debt situation is not dealt with immediately, you're going to have at least 3 of the IPPs shutting down by the close of next week, you said.
Not next week, beginning from next week.
Beginning from next week. Yes. From the list that I see, you have Sonona-Sogli yourselves, you've already shut down. Car Power Ship, we have the Amandi, the TCE Amandi, you have the Sempower, you have the Senate, you have AXA, you have Bridge Early Power. Which of these are you referring to?
Like I said, for now, I cannot disclose that. But when we get close, it will become public.
There was a threat some time back, a similar threat, that the IPPs were going to shut down. That was averted because government stepped in. And in fact, we've seen that the finance minister a short while back had announced that some negotiations have happened. Very positive outcome indeed, he says. So what has changed? That from early next week, 3 IPPs will be shutting down, when the finance minister has been very positive that the outcome of the negotiations have been very positive.
If what he said was true, you will get to know from next week. I've made it clear that those statements that he made were actually political. He cannot produce any single agreement that he has signed with any IPP public. If he has, let him share it with us publicly for us to see.
He mustn't share the contract, Mercy. He simply was making a point, but there have been negotiations. And some of the IPPs had agreed to take a haircut, if you like.
You know, I said to reach an agreement means that the 2 parties have reached a meeting point. And definitely there are conditions, precedents that must be honored for the contract to be fully signed. And if those things do not happen, you cannot say that you have concluded an agreement or you have reached an agreement.
You contribute some 560 megawatts to the national grid. Those 3 IPPs you're talking about, what will be the total loss to the grid if they shut down early next week?
That figure will amount to disclosing the names of these IPPs in question.
But I'm curious. You're comfortable telling us that it'll be shutting down, but you're not comfortable telling us who they are? I mean, Southern Asogli didn't make bones of the fact
No,
that they were shut down. They
I
did.
mentioned, I stated that if there is no intervention before the week ends, beginning next week, 3 key IPPs will shut down, in addition to Sunan Asogli.
I mean, this sounds to me.
There may be an intervention before then. In that case, there may not be the need to disclose the IPPs in question. But if there is not, I will speak to you and I will disclose the IPPs concerned.
This sounds to me like a negotiating tactic. Like you're throwing it out there to force the government's hand to sit and negotiate.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm very practical with what I said. It is something that cannot be concealed. Next week, if nothing happens, you will testify yourself. Not a negotiation tactics at all. All is not well, I can tell you. Some companies, the whole of the year, have not received even anything at all.
You mean the whole year?
The whole year, from January to date. It's a very serious case.
And which companies are these?
At the appropriate time, you will get to know the details, please.
Because I find that incredible that a business will run for a year and not get paid. How are they still operating? Because so far, only Sunan Asogli has shut down. And you shut down, at least you announce it publicly on the season of October. It doesn't sound to me like an IPP can continue to operate for a year without pay.
There are very serious things that have happened during the period, but not made public.
Serious?
You may ask the Ministry of Finance or ECG some of the excesses that have happened between them and the power producing company.
When you say excesses,
we are just making serious sacrifices for this nation.
I mean, you're certainly not for the Christmas, and Christmas is around the corner. You're buying fuel, you're paying staff, you're doing maintenance, and this costs money. In fact, in your case, we are talking specifically about $259 million. And you're saying that there are IPPs who've been operating like this for a year without pay? That's difficult to believe.
Let me make this thing clear. Assuming the IPPs take responsibility of fuel supply, it will have been a different case. But here lies the case. Government is the one responsible for fuel supply, always making the fuel available for the plants to run. I hope you get a clue from what I'm trying to say.
That is why you're saying that the IPPs who have not been paid are still running, because they're getting the fuel from government.
Exactly.
So without government buying the fuel, you say they'll be shut. There
is nothing. As far as the case, for instance, became worse, that is why we refuse to even receive the fuel to operate.
So you rejected government fuel?
By all means.
Why?
How do we continue to operate without being paid? A whole year you owed us, even the figure that we are quoting, the 239, is just the net of it. There are other costs that government still has to assume responsibility for that were not even mentioned.
You heard the president today categorically say that with the commissioning of this 550 megawatts,
It's 200
megawatts.
Yes.
Well, that's what was advertised, but let's take your word for it. And that he's confident that we're going to have a situation where Dumsor never returns. And he's very confident that this will be sustained over the next few years, and that the growth of the power that's available to get into the system, into the national grid, will be sustained over the period. Now, based on what you're just telling me, does it sound realistic?
That assumption to me is very wrong, in the sense that Ghana is not suffering from an infrastructure or generation deficit. Besides, these plants have been in operation for quite some time, so commissioning 200 megawatts is actually not an issue. Remember, the same government came and said that there is excess capacity. Why should an addition to already existing capacities be a point to put Dumsor to rest? No, the challenges of the sector is largely financial as we speak. the policies, political intervention in the activities of ECGs, things that do not really favor ECG financially are what is causing the key challenges of the data, which is largely financial.
And that has been very well advertised when it comes to financial challenges with the sector. You've told us already that early next week, if nothing happens to deal with the debt, 3 IPPs will also shut down. In your case, you've been off since 16th October when you announced to the world that you've shut down. You haven't been settled. What's the confidence that the rest will be settled before early next week?
Well, I am still confident, or I believe government may look at the seriousness of the situation and come in with something. Otherwise, government may be the biggest loser. Let me put it that way.
Stay with me. I want to bring in Nana Moisi, he's Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Securities, into the conversation. Nana, you've just been listening to the CEO of the Independent Power Producers, Emefa Petokbo, there makes the point about the 3 more IPPs shutting down early next week, and that will add to the Sono Nasogli shutdown that we know has not been operating since the 16th of October. This is a financing challenge. However, the government, he says, have not given them any indication that they can find the money. The president has been assuring today that everything has been done to resolve the issue. They simply haven't got the money, have they? And next week, from what he's saying, if nothing happens, we can't expect some of our challenges from Monday. Hello, Nana. Okay, hello, Nana. Can you hear me? Okay, I may have lost him down the line. I'll try and get him back into the conversation. But we've been listening to the president today at the commissioning of this Endeavour Energy project with the significant megawatts being added onto the national grid. We've been hearing from the CEO of the independent power generators on the conversation around the debt that the sector is still burdened with. Sono Nasogli is still down and with no plans of coming back up to contribute its lot to the national grid. And you've been watching this space very closely. Where we are now, another threat that 3 more IPPs will be shutting down. Government simply hasn't got the money. We've had the finance minister say that they've reached some agreement on this. What do you know as far as the reality of where government is with the IPP negotiations are concerned?
Well, what we understand even is that government is just adamant in paying, let's say, for now. They are rather willing to import power from La Côte d'Ivoire than to pay anybody that threatens them or any other plant that goes down. And so what we know is that through next week, the bird has whispered to us that some other plant may go down. We are also monitoring if government will be just willing to pay them or not. From where we sit, and it's likely that we're going to see a more heightened outage than what we have today.
But where's government getting the money to import the power when they can pay those they already owe locally?
That's what we can't just understand. We don't used to be importing power, but since the last 2 months, government has made attempts and have succeeded in importing power from La Côte d'Ivoire in critical times. But if you are comfortable importing and probably paying later for it, why aren't you willing to get these other plants online and giving them something and probably engaging them to come back? We don't know whether government wants to rather be incentivized to pay the PPs. It is rather government that needs to incentivize the power plants to come on stream and to keep on producing power.
But the money isn't there, is it? I mean, the negotiations started. We got several announcements of progress. The president today has assured again that he will ensure that this is resolved. It appears that the conversations around renegotiating the IPP's debt had not traveled far, contrary to what we've been told.
We do suspect him because it's the same government that pledged through the finance minister that they've directed stores to pay Asogri at least $30 million so that they can start a proper negotiation. Up to now, we get the indication that nothing has been done, and very, very unfortunate. And even I don't know what gives the president the comfort, and that the issue will be resolved. Is it that because he's going to commission early power or bridge power? Bridge power has been producing power since the beginning of the year, going through technical commission. Sometimes they go down because of a challenge or two. In fact, bridge power was down until the day after we shut down, and they forced to bring bridge power online. And since it's been operating, we only hope that it was not a forced act, and that the plant can work effectively up to we have. But they are still generating power, yet we still have outages across the country because we are not meeting our peak demand and we are producing under capacity.
Well, Nana, thank you very much. Thank you also, Dr. Emefa Petok. But I want to hear from you on the 05511119997 News Night in a minute.
Kind of way, tell you so the more money promo now.
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draws. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
It's Heaven on Earth conference season, and the glory is about to fall. Join us for our annual word and worship conference dubbed Heaven on Earth. Come be inspired and refreshed with dynamic, life-changing messages from our host and global lead pastor, Gideon Danso, and mighty men of God, such as Pastor Bradley Knight, Pastor Pojo Yemade, Pastor Keon Henderson, Pastor Paul Doherty, and Pastor Travis Green. Leading worship will be the sound of our house, EWC Live. Sessions are from 6 p.m. each night, from Wednesday through to Friday, and we crown it all on the 24th with Conference Sunday at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning, our worship night at 6 p.m. Location is the EWC Prayer Fact, Jowolu, next to the Allied Heights, and it's absolutely free. There'll be free buses as well at key vantage points. For more information, 055-100,002. We can't wait to have you at Heaven on Earth Conference, brought to you by the Empowerment Worship Center, where God lives.
18 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Hashtag Stop Galamsey Now, so on. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, our commitment to progress is more than a rhetoric. That's President Akufo-Addo this afternoon as he commissioned the Flowerport Interchange, which has been under construction since 2017.
Today, with this interchange, we reaffirm that our commitment to progress is more than rhetoric. It is action, built in stone and steel.
We have details of the project, which includes a soccer pitch and a basketball court. Plus, we'll get to hear from the Minister of Roads and Highways explaining the reasoning behind the prolonged delay of critical infrastructure projects like the Apawu Road.
Have faced unavoidable delays due to measures implemented under the debt exchange program.
Also tonight, International Arbitration Tribunal in London upholds Ghana's $5.4 million offer instead of the 4 billion cedis being sought by GCNet as compensation for the early termination of their service agreement in the country. Details as the tribunal also orders GCNet to pay $2.2 million in legal costs to Ghana, declaring that the agreement was validly terminated. Also tonight on the campaign trail, former Eastern Regional Minister under the John Mahama administration accuses Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia of rewriting his party's manifesto and introducing some NDC concepts into the mix.
When President John Dramani Mahama talked about Mahama Care, creating a fund, Ghana Medical Trust Fund, now Vice President Bawumia says that free access to dialysis.
And John Mahama has been linking the Black Stars' recent poor performance to the general bad state of affairs in the country.
African Cup of Nations, and so I feel the Black Stars are
And then the NPP presidential candidate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ends his 15-day campaign tour of the Ashanti region as he's set to hit the northern region and some hotspot constituencies before December 7.
Wow.
In business, more reduction in fuel prices expected in coming weeks as long as cedi remains stable against the US dollar.
And in sports, GFA Executive Council set to meet tomorrow to discuss Black Stars AFCON failure.
And much later, pressure mounts on government to resolve the 24-hour traffic congestion on the Kpong barrier to Dawenya Road as motorists issue fresh threats to vote out the ruling government over its failure to complete the stalled expansion project.
From here to Dawenya, we will spend about 3 hours to 4 hours before you can get to Dawenya. We are suffering in Ghana too much. This year, they are voting that we are going to vote with sense. People should rise up. We have to change Ghana.
Even traffic tonight, let's hear from you. Send us your WhatsApp and tell us what's happening on that stretch. 055-1111-997. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am Emefa Apawu. And after 7 long years and countless hours of enduring traffic congestion at the Flower Port, relief has finally arrived. President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the Flower Port interchange, an 802-meter dual carriageway constructed at a cost of 147 million cedis. The project, which connects East Legon, Spintex and its environs, is set to ease the daily traffic struggles of commuters. Speaking at the event, President Akufo-Addo emphasized that his government's commitment to Ghanaians goes beyond mere rhetoric. He announced that more projects like the Flower Port interchange dotted across the country will soon be completed and ready for use.
This interchange is a clear, tangible example of our promise to ensure that every Ghanaian feels the positive impact of our governance. Today, with this interchange, we reaffirm that our commitment to progress is more than rhetoric. It is action, built in stone and steel. The Flower Port interchange exemplifies my government's vision of a modern, interconnected, and prosperous Ghana. This project will significantly relieve the congestion that has long plagued this area, facilitating efficient movement along the boundary road. In the Greater Accra region alone, we have completed the Pokwase Interchange, Tema Motorway Interchange Phase 1, Obechebi-Lamte Interchange Phase 1, the East Legon Underpass, and today, this Flower Port Interchange. Our journey continues with 14 additional interchanges currently underway across Ghana, each at different stages of completion.
Well, I've also been hearing from the roads minister. As you may have noticed, some road projects like the Obeche-Bilamte interchange and the Tamaflau roads have all stalled for months. Well, Senso Boache says the debt exchange program is the reason for those delays.
One notable project is this famous flower pot interchange that we are commissioning today. Although sword was cut for this project in 2016, actual construction began in March 2017 under the leadership of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Since then, the project has undergone significant modifications to enhance its scope and functionality. Originally as planned as 2 overpasses over the flower pot runabout and the motorway, the design was ingeniously expanded to include continuous viaducts from Palace Mall to Boundary Road, an extension beyond Palace Mall to facilitate movement from Sprinters Road, a ramp down onto the motorway from Palace Mall, and a ramp up from Shashi. This infrastructure also includes a 100-car parking area under the viaduct in East Legon to support local activities, along with 2 beautifully designed roundabouts featuring fountains and public art. We have thoughtfully designed vibrant and welcoming spaces under the flyover to enrich the community experience. These features, metal fencing to define the urban room space and enhance public safety, murals painted on piers and retaining walls, adding aesthetic and cultural value to the environment.
He also adds that more road projects will soon be commissioned to ease the congestion on parts of the roads.
Recreational amenities, including 5-a-side football pitch, basketball court, and table tennis areas, especially for the youth of Accra. Essential public service facilities, including food court, a fire station, police post, and an ambulance station. That this project has been completed to the highest standards and speculations upheld by the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Other similar flagship projects aimed at improving the overall road network are also progressing steadily and will soon be ready for use by all Ghanaians. As you may be aware, certain development partner-funded projects, including the Tema Aflawo Road, have faced unavoidable delays due to measures implemented under the debt exchange program. Specifically, for the Tema Aflawo Road, the mobile maintenance unit of the National Roads Authority has been tasked to undertake targeted interventions in the coming days to provide some relief to commuters. Similar maintenance efforts are being rolled out to mitigate the difficulties faced by motorists on other stalled projects such as the Tema Akosomo Road project. And so we continue to negotiate with our development partners to ensure the project's full completion. I urge all to remain patient and continue to support us.
Well, Evans, we'll get to focus on the Dawenya stretch shortly, but some residents around the Flower Pot interchange have turned the area into an informal market with numerous hawkers occupying the streets, while the hawkers are urging the government to build a designated market space beneath the new interchange to provide them with a proper place to conduct their business. We can listen to some of them.
How do we say 30 cedis a day? So how can you buy food in the mall? Let's say they are selling food there 50 cedis, 100 cedis. We are marking you 30 cedis a day. So how can you buy food there? So my problem here, the problem is we don't have market here. We need market place where we can work. Understand? We don't have market. We don't have station. We more things.
I don't think you market can buy anka. Above 1 year. Say you just have to buy market. So but I do best when you hear no bad. This is our same you find here. This is the management. Chop me and my independent. Man, I'm talking about you.
As of now, we don't know.
Some traders there lamenting and hoping that market space will be created for them. Well, the regional minister, that's the Greater Accra regional minister, Titus Kwate Glover, says that will not happen.
Whose hard work and dedication have brought this project to fruition. Your commitment has contributed immensely to transform our region. To the people of Greater Accra, this interchange stands as a symbol of progress and resilience. It is also a reminder that as we continue to build, innovate, and improve, we also share the responsibility to maintain and use these resources wisely. In this light, I would like to urge the municipal assemblies, particularly the Jokuku and Ayawaso West Wogo, under whose jurisdiction this interchange falls, to ensure that this area is kept clean. Additionally, I don't want to see kiosks, and the chief executive should listen to me. We don't want to see kiosk containers littered all over there. It will destroy the beauty of this edifice that we will witness and commission today. No hawking around this area, so that we can open up this area to make sure that we get the benefit of it. Let us work together to maintain the order and preserve the vital infrastructure.
Well, so that's the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Titus Glover there.
Thankfully, we can speak to the DG of the National Roads Authority, Director General, joins us on the line right now, James Godfred. Mr. Godfred, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
You're welcome.
Let's talk first about the reason why this was so important. It's about the traffic congestion in that particular enclave, particularly the Flower Pot area. Does this resolve this permanently?
Well, to a large extent, the plans that we put in place is to resolve this permanently.
Large extent? You're leaving room for some challenges going forward?
Come again, please.
It's a large extent. I'm just wondering whether you're leaving room for some challenges going forward when it comes to that enclave there. It always poses a risk of a gridlock.
I don't expect to have that we have any gridlock in the short term, but we will monitor the performance as we go on and see what we need to tweak. That's why I see it to a large extent.
You say short term, long term?
Yes, ultimately yes. The reason I say short term is that we, as part of this project, we are creating an exit into cantonment. That is not completed yet. And that is why I say in the short term. Because we do expect that when that is done, the whole stretch will be freer and mobility will be enhanced better.
Additional routes into cantonments, and what's the plan in terms of the timelines for that?
Oh, work is ongoing. It is my expectation that latest in a couple of weeks we should be ready.
So as we speak tonight, that entire enclave, the road is now open to traffic?
As we speak, the northbound section is open to traffic. You know, I'm still here. We've had to clear the road of all the canopies and chairs and carpets and what have you. That has been done for the northbound traffic. As you do know, in the evening, the traffic is towards the motorway and into East Legon and beyond. So that has been cleared out. Exactly at 6 o'clock, we're able to achieve that. So the vehicles are using the interchange in that direction. We are working feverishly, and in the next 20 minutes or so, we should have the southbound one also open to traffic.
And that will then complete the entire opening of the interchange?
Exactly.
So tomorrow morning, go on.
As I was trying to explain earlier, the reason for doing this interchange first and foremost is to relieve commuters of the traffic congestion that occurs here. And once the bridge is open, it is our plan to make people use it as quickly as possible. So that is what we're trying to do. And that's why we've had to open one side for them to use now. In the next 20 minutes or so, both directions will be open and hopefully congestion will be history.
For commuters who use that route, and I am included, I use that area very often, from tomorrow morning when you're going, and the rush hour, you're saying that in the rush hour you can use that interchange to avoid the traffic, that gridlock you see at East Legon and the bridge trying to head onto the motorway going into Spinkters Road. You can use all the routes that are available as part of this interchange.
Exactly. You can use it. You can use all the routes.
Some education, though. What's the plan to educate commuters on the various access routes in and out of the interchange?
Well, as we have our educational plan, and we will put out the animation to indicate all the routes and the possibilities, both on top of the bridge and beneath it, because there are quite a number of options that are available to the public. So we will start doing that from tomorrow.
Let's talk.
But it's largely self-enforcing and self-educating. When you are getting onto the bridge, onto the north side, after about 600 to 700 meters, if you are going towards Tema, there's a slip there which is clearly identified, and also the other lane goes into the East Legon area. When you are coming from Shiachi, the slip is fairly visible. You get onto the bridge and it takes you to the palace area towards Air Force. And so it's not complex, but of course, we still find it necessary to let the public know the way we want the road to be used. And what is also challenging a bit is the roads beneath. When you are coming from the new Spinkters Road 1, we haven't opened the roads to public lately. We noticed that people try to enter Palace Mall from under the bridge, which is not the right way. So we are trying to, the animation will educate people as much as possible for them to know how to get into the various destinations within the enclave.
Let's talk cost now. How much did it cost us to pull this up fully?
Well, the full cost is about 677 million Ghana cedis. Yes.
The initial cost, though, was far less, wasn't it?
The initial scope was also entirely different. What is happening is the initial scope was 2 overpasses, one over Flower Pot Runabout and another across the motorway. So it was a total of about 120 meter length of bridge. What we do have now is 1,022 meters of bridge. So the scope as originally planned and what we have done now is entirely different. So comparing the two costs will not be helpful. What we originally sought out to do can be compared to the 2 ramps from Shiashi onto the main viaduct and also from the motorway, from the viaduct to the motorway. That's 80 meters and 140 meters. And even that is 220 meters. The original scope was about 120 meter length of bridge.
What informed this variation?
Well, the initial plan, as you may know, is to relieve congestion at that location. But looking at a more comprehensive solution, and also after that contract had been signed, we also decided to build the Spinkters Road 1. And when I say the Spinkters Road 1, that's a 9-kilometer road from the frontage of Palace right through Lejokuku, through Krowo, through Tema West, onto the Community 18 Road in Tema West. When that road was being built, then we thought it wise to have that road come under this interchange so that we don't create another junction. One of the challenges we have in our traffic stream are the junctions that you know. So we wanted to create a great separation between that road, which we believe that when completed will be heavily trafficked. So we did not want to have another junction. So this Spinkters Road 1 goes under the Flower Pot interchange, and you can make a left or a right depending on where you are going.
And still talking about road construction, that general enclave there. Let's talk about that stretch from Bombaria heading towards Pram. The complaints in the last few days have been massive. I know there's some construction that was happening on that stretch. It's stalled, has it not? What's the challenge there?
Well, I think if you heard the minister speak this morning, he indicated that there were some unavoidable challenges as a result of the debt restructuring undertaken by government. What the minister has directed that is done is that the mobile maintenance units of the authority will do some targeted improvements to improve the traffic congestion and the bad nature of the road that people have been subjected to. So that will be tackled as soon as possible.
So for those commuters who are currently stuck in traffic and in the morning they'll also deal with this, when will this road project come back?
We are not waiting for the contractor to come back. If you heard me right, the minister has given directive for the mobile maintenance unit to start some remedial works there. And that is what we are going to do immediately.
Starting when? Tomorrow?
I believe so.
Will that immediately solve the problem, though, with the heavy traffic that people have to endure every morning and going back home?
Well, the solution to the heavy traffic is what we're seeking to do. Dualize the road and also grade separate the intersection, sorry. That's the full solution that we've envisaged. However, we also do appreciate that sections of the road are in terrible state. And that's what we are going to address now.
But the original plan, which you just mentioned, to dualize, is off now until you can fix the challenges around sourcing of the funds and the contractors' issues on the back of the DDEP.
Well, I believe that as soon as the DDEP issues are resolved fully, the contractor will be back on site.
Fair to say then, as we speak tonight, we don't know when that will be re-engaged and activated.
Yeah, but I don't expect that to take too long.
So, for those who will be in traffic tonight, once you begin the repair of the other routes, you're going to give them alternatives?
I beg your pardon, alternatives to which route?
You know that for those who use that stretch, there are some back routes that they can use to also ease the traffic on the main road if you're traveling on that Bombaria to Pram or doing vice versa. There are other connecting routes, and they'll tell you that if you fix those, at least grade them, that lessens the pressure on the main road. Are they going to get that at least? Those alternatives also?
We will consider that. Anything to relieve them of the undue traffic, we shall do.
Thank you very much. And that there is James Amu-Godfred, is the Director General of the National Roads Authority. And talking about that stretch, we've been hearing a lot from residents in that area.
We have a number of colleagues who ply the route a lot, and Carlos Kaloni has been interacting with some commuters. They are actually frustrated and venting their anger out of government, saying that they would not vote for this particular government if nothing is done about the situation.
We suffer in Ghana too much. They are suffering in Ghana too much. Since I've been in traffic, I'm going to Accra, East Lagos. I've been in traffic more than 3 hours now. What do they do? 7 December, we are coming to vote. See how we are suffering.
Is today the only time you are facing this problem?
No, this is not the only time I'm facing this problem. Every day there's traffic. Every day there's traffic here. If you are going to Accra, you wait 10 U-turn. Every day U-turn, there's no any use of it. There's no any good use of it.
How long is the traffic from here to Dawenya?
From here to Dawenya, we will spend about 3 hours to 4 hours before you can get to Dawenya. We are suffering in Ghana too much. This year, the voting that we are going to vote with sense. People should rise up. We have to change Ghana.
Coming from Dawenya, for about 1.5 hours now being in the traffic. Very stressful every day, both in and out. We want the government to do something about it. It is very stressful.
Do we know exactly why this traffic persists?
That's small. We have a small problem here that the drivers have to take time and go through it. That's causing the heat traffic right from Dawenya.
All the way from Dawenya?
Dawenya after here.
So you spend about 1 hour, 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Okay. What would be your message to the road ministry and the government?
They should come together and help us. We are also a citizen of Ghana.
More than 2 hours. So this government here, we have to throw it away. Then we give them way to go. This thing cannot help us for the country where we stay now. So if for no, So if you not go do any kululu for anywhere, we tire Plazan.
Well, I mean, we heard earlier that some relief will be coming beginning tomorrow. The minister had instructed that some maintenance work should be done while they wait to resolve the issue around the contractor who was already on the road, who has abandoned the project now due to the DDEP challenges. And we want to hear from you if you're on that stretch, but also we'll get updates on the assurances that have been given. You live there, tell us if anything changes in the coming days. 055-1111-997.
Off to the Ashanti region and still on roads, and motorists and commuters in parts of the region are also lamenting the economic and livelihood impact of heightened vehicular traffic in part of the region. Commercial drivers say their daily sales are dwindling for the long hours they're stuck in traffic. There's more in this report.
The past few weeks have seen an unusual traffic congestion in parts of Kumasi in morning and late afternoon rush hours. Some commuters say they have had to leave their home as early as 4 a.m. to access transport and report to work on time. Road users of the Kronom Afrancho stretch lament the stress of early morning traffic. Some attribute the heavy traffic on the Kronom stretch to potholes in the middle of the road. Frustrated motorists and commuters expressed their displeasure to Joy News.
We are losing a much. Yours, just look at, I'm going to KGTR and I've been in this queue for about 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm supposed to go open my shop and look at me here right now. So I'm losing money. At the same time, my car too is also having problems. So this thing, it seems, is killing us.
You are having on this stretch?
I've been on it about an hour now. From that junction to here, it's a stress. About the road, which is not good. It's not good. Tell government to make haste to do it for us. It's a stress.
That's the situation in Kumasi. Well, do we do business or we go to the London Tribunal Court now? And we know that tonight the International Arbitration Tribunal in London has upheld Ghana's submission to pay $5.4 million to Ghana's Community Network Services Limited, GCNet, following the early termination of their service agreement in the country. Also, we know that GCNet in 2020 challenged the right of the government to terminate a service agreement it had with Ghana. Under the deal, GCNet was granted the exclusive right to develop, customize, update, and operate an electronic system for processing customs payment and trade documents at Ghana's port. But government in 2020 terminated the deal on grounds that it did not have the necessary approvals for extension of the contract.
Well, following a breakdown of attempts by GCNet to reach an amicable resolution with the government, GCNet commenced the arbitration proceedings pursuant to Article 13.2 of the agreement with Ghana. The company asserted that the contract was unlawfully terminated by the government of Ghana and sought 3.3 billion cedis in damages from the government. The amount comprised compensation of over 2.1 billion cedis for what it alleged was the wrongful termination of the agreement, and some 1.19 billion cedis for past alleged breaches of the agreement when the government granted exemptions and discounts to importers pursuant to government policy during the life of the agreement. The company also sought to recover pre-award interest amounting to some $4 million in legal fees from the government if the tribunal ruled in its favor.
Well, so we've been taking a look at the breakdown of Ghana's case. You've been talking about what exactly GCNet's concerns were, but let's look at what exactly the tribunal has been saying and what the details are in terms of what the outcome of today's or that proceeding that started in April 2024. So let's bring in a spokesperson of the Ministry of Justice in the Attorney General's Department. Wilberforce Asare joins us on the line. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So let's clarify. We know that the London Tribunal also, awarded costs of 2.2 million to GCNet or in favor of Ghana, but of course also upheld that 5.4 million that was agreed earlier between the two sides of this particular case. Give us clarity on what exactly transpired.
Thank you very much. And the name is Isaac Wilberforce Mensah, not Wilberforce Asare. Anyway.
You're pardon. I'm thinking about my colleague in the industry.
I know. It's fine. The issue is that the issue of the 5.4 million was never in contention. The issue of 5.4 million as far back as 2018, even this is years before this matter even went on arbitration or before GCNet took the matter to arbitration. The issue of $5.4 million was something that from the beginning, the government of Ghana had been telling GCNet that this is the only thing you are entitled to. This is the only thing you're entitled to, 5.4 million. So when the matter, GCNet says that no, we're entitled to way more than that. Now, if you look at the total of what GCNet we're looking at about 20 times that amount. So the government of Ghana or the Attorney General, when the matter went to court, GCNet decided to drag Ghana to arbitration, and Ghana, being led by the learned Attorney General, makes a strong case to say that the only thing GCNet is entitled to is the 5.4 million. So if at the outcome or the end of the case, the arbitral tribunal rules that GCNet, the only thing you're entitled to is the 5.4 million that the Attorney General is saying, I think it's a bit mischievous for some headlines to suggest that the 5.4 million as if it's a victory for GCNet. Now let's talk about the victory. In an arbitration case, in any arbitration case, what happens is that the losing party pays the legal fees of the winning party. That's usually the norm in arbitration. Now at the end of this case, GCNet, like you rightly said in your studio, brilliantly so, GCNet wanted 4 million for the arbitration alone as legal fee. GCNet wanted $4 million. What did the court say? The court said, GCNet, you are not entitled to the $4 million because you lost the case. So you rather should pay Ghana, the Republic of Ghana, pay Ghana XYZ amount, aside the legal fee in excess of 1.4 million, excess cost or other costs involved, bringing the total to about $2.2 million. So in a nutshell, if GCNet had not taken this matter to arbitration, they would have gotten 5.4 million.
So, but I just wanted to find out, though, going forward, it's a fact that, of course, GCNet will be walking away with a 5.4 million that we talk about, and Ghana is also supposed to get 2.2 million. When exactly are these payments supposed to be made?
Well, for the payments there, because interest have been stated in respect of the sums. As to the date you make final payment, the earlier you pay, the less interest that would accrue. But the bottom line is that this is victory for Ghana. And as I've stated before on your platform, and I'll state again, the current Attorney General, Mr. Godfrey Yeboah-Adame, has never lost any international arbitration case, and I can say that emphatically. And once again, true to his nature, he went for this case, and this is 100% victory. The tribunal were emphatic that all the claims against the Republic of Ghana fail. And this is corollary to the arguments, the superior arguments made by the learned Attorney General against the 3 different law firms that were marshaled against the Republic of Ghana.
We are grateful. We'll have to leave it here. Wilberforce Mensah, Isaac Wilberforce Mensah, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General's Department. George, let's do business.
Well, Emefa coming up in business, more reduction in fuel prices expected in coming weeks if cedi remains stable against the US dollar. And World Bank announces engagement with key partners over happenings at Development Bank Ghana as it seeks to obtain full facts of issues on the ground. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Sinterstanks and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
My man, I heard there's a new app on the streets that does it all for you.
Ah, really? How is that possible?
Charlie, I also could not believe it too. But I downloaded the app and I'm telling you, I was able to chat with my friends, make video calls and...
Well, we know of many apps that can do that.
Oh, let me finish, la. I was also able to listen to the latest songs, play games and read the latest sports news.
For real?
Yeah, and I can send and receive money from the app. Amazing, no?
What's the name of this app?
It's called Ayoba.
Ayoba.
Yeah, Ayoba.
Get Ayoba, your all-in-one app that lets you chat, call, share, play, pay, and listen to music all in one app for everyone. Enjoy Ayoba with MTN and download the Ayoba app today. Everywhere you go.
Hooray! The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is organizing its end-of-year furniture promotional sales from the 15th of November to the 31st of December this year. Kingdom Books and Stationery is giving away a whopping 10 to 15% discount on all furniture at our furniture shops. Head office, Akweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Tema, Comte 4, Takrady, opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast, University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic, Centerpoint Mall, Winneba, University Campus, KNUSD, the University Bookshop, Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit and shop online at www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764101 or email us at info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
From the classroom to the lab, from the village to the city, the NPP's commitment to education is building a brighter Ghana. Free SHS isn't just about free tuition, it's an investment in Ghana's future. We have topped it up with free TVET and STEM education, skilled graduates, innovative thinkers, and a thriving economy. That's the promise of free SHS.
3 of my cousins have benefited from free SHS since 2017. One has graduated and is in nursing training. The other 2 are also in the university. I'll vote number 1. I'll vote for Baumia on December 7th.
We are building a better tomorrow through education. Vote NPP. Vote number 1. Vote Baumia. Baumia means business. Estro.
Businesses know how important it is to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is licensed to provide medical insurance services to corporate organizations and SMEs. We also have international LH Blue cover and TPAs to cushion you. Multinational companies, factories, and government agencies, focus on your business while Apex Insurance takes care of your health. Visit Apex Health Insurance office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, Kumasi, opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and Takrady Market Circle. For further inquiries, call 0501 562 962 or 0501 552 495. Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed star 712 hash and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone.
Dial star 712 hash. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial star 712 hash. Now I can swap to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now win is the car cashier. Prizes are cashier in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star
712 hash. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, you should expect to pay more. Actually, you should expect more reductions in the prices of petroleum products at the pumps in the coming weeks. Now, that's if the cedi continues to stabilize against the US dollar. There is more in the following report.
The rate at which the cedi sells to the dollar plays a critical role when it comes to pricing of petroleum products. If the cedi is not doing that well, then consumers in Ghana are definitely going to pay more for each liter of fuel sold at the pumps. This is because these finished petroleum products are sold in dollars. It is therefore for this reason why these analysts are projecting that if the cedi's current good run is sustained, then prices will be reviewed again at the next pricing window, with some projecting that it could stretch up to the end of this year. Some oil marketing companies have dropped prices from this morning at the pumps. If this outlook is anything to go by, then that could go a long way to reduce the cost of living.
And that is a business desk report. Now, banks have given the firm assurance that lending to businesses will pick up strongly as long as the current economic situation improves. Now, some indicators that influence credit extension have picked up strongly over the past 2 months. However, there are fears that banks may be slow in responding to these developments. But Chief Executive Association of Banks, John Ewa, disagrees.
Even in periods when we were recording negative growth, banks were giving loans to those kind of business, bankable projects. So those factors are more or less an evolving issue, something that banks continuously will be reviewing. But risk is not stagnant or static. It's, as the environment changes, the risk factors within the environment also change. And as a lending institution, you have to be keeping close eye on the movement of all the variables that feed the decision-making process in sanctioning a facility. The MPC report said credit to private sector is showing positive trend. We are all hoping that that trend continues and reflects the positive movements in the economy. The economy is moving in the right direction. Of course, banks are the institutions that fuel economic growth. We oil the wheels of progress. So banks cannot sit aloof and say, oh, we are watching the economy to be growing when we are the ones that are supposed to be propelling the growth. So as we see now from the report that the two of us and your viewers have read or may have read, we've seen some positive trends, and we are hopeful that those trends will continue.
John Ewa is Chief Executive of the Association of Banks. Now, the World Bank has revealed that it's engaging its key partners over happenings at Development Bank Ghana. This follows allegations by Imani Vice President Bryce Simmons that funds allocated to the institution by its partners actually had not been well used. There is more in this report.
The World Bank, in a statement issued today, maintained that it takes issues about business relationships and trust very seriously, hence the decision to adopt this posture on this issue. It went ahead in the statement issued to add that it has been made aware of the allegations surrounding the operations of the Development Bank, and it's seriously looking into the issues raised. The World Bank is one of the key partners that played an instrumental role in the establishment of the Development Bank Ghana when it comes to financing as well as the required technical support. The World Bank therefore maintains that it takes these issues very serious and will move to get some clarity on the issue. The Vice President of Imani Ghana, Bryce Simmons, last month in a detailed report alleged that the Development Bank Ghana had misused funds given to them by the development partners like World Bank. Mr. Simons also alleged that Development Bank had failed to carry out needed audits on some critical projects. But the Development Bank in the statement rejected all these allegations, insisting it has carried out its operation in the best international practice.
And that is a business desk report. Now, partner at Assurance at Deloitte Ghana, Dr. Kwame Sutu, has stressed the need for institutions to deal with challenges affecting the governance structure of their operations. He said this as the key in publishing what he calls sustainable agenda. He was speaking at the Institute of Internal Auditors 2024 Board and Chief Executives Governance Forum.
In all our decision making around major transactions, we are also required to look at the sustainability related risks and opportunities side of that transaction. So it is something we must now embed in some of the internal control functions that we have. So if we must look at it as now it has come to stay, and it must be part and parcel of the business's operation, starting right from the top.
Partner, the assurance at Deloitte Ghana, Dr. Kwabena Situ. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Emefa and Evans.
Thank you so much. Let's do some of your messages that you sent in via WhatsApp.
And this is Christine Kaswa says, why would you not pay someone who has given you power all this while and rather be thinking of importing power from Ivory Coast in time of crisis? That is a story relating, that's on a story from Top Story. And this is Jesse Sakumono says, I'm not enthused about the inauguration of the flower port overpass because of the complete neglect of Ashaiman end of the under bridge. The former president, who was the initiator of the project, had a similar one that was supposed to go over the Ashaiman end of the motorway but was abandoned after 2016. And Kwame says this project isn't completed. The commissioning is for the December 7 election. All of a sudden, everything is being commissioned for the election. My daughter is being fed with Gary Eba in a big school for over a week. Nana is on the Spinkters Road, says, I have lived in East Airport for years. It's a flower port interchange, not a continuation of the Mahama Road and started by the previous government. Charles says, News Night, always 2 hours, just from Dowenya to Tema in traffic, listening to you live from the studio while he's sitting in traffic and giving us his own experience with that particular stretch. Musa says Akufo-Addo and Bawumia heavily criticized Mahama for procuring the Emery plant for $510 million, but has since spent an additional $38 million just to relocate the plant to Kumasi and failed to honor their financial obligations. A few of your views there on our WhatsApp platform.
Let's do sports. Danny Cranting is here.
Let's go straight into the stories. And the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association is scheduled to hold its next meeting tomorrow. The meeting will see council members deliberate on a number of key issues on the development of football in the country. Topping the agenda of the meeting is the performance of the Black Stars in the just ended AFCON 2025 qualifiers. The future of Black Stars boss Otto Addo is not expected to be on the agenda. Moving on, Niger head coach Badu Zaki has disclosed that the bulk of his team that defeated Ghana in yesterday's game in Accra is made of amateurs. And Niger missed out on AFCON qualification by a single point, with Ghana finishing bottom of the group.
When we play against Sudan and Ghana, we have very hard traveling. And I have players, the most of them, they are amateurs who perform in Niger. And also, when we get the professional player from outside, they travel 18 hours. The most of them come one night before the game. I think it's different. That's why I say if we have special plane who can carry us, like Morocco, like Angola, like other countries, and to have my players can recover from match to match, it will be better. That's the difference.
Yeah, Niger head coach Badu Zaki bring that into sports. Back to you guys.
Let's get into the election headquarters now.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, Chopbox Technology, a convenient service, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Youth Break Foundation, bridging the gaps for positive youth development. Syntex Tanks, Air Strong, Air Tough, Potential Real Estate, your trusted partner in real estate. Deluxe Paint, Paint Mu Champion.
And tonight, the National Democratic Congress says it will petition the Inspector General of Police on fears of a ploy to rig the 2024 general election. Speaking at a press conference this afternoon, the party also raised concern about the safety of citizens, calling on the IGP to ensure no life is lost in this particular election. There's more in the following report.
Democratic Congress at a press conference on Tuesday raised some concerns bordering on a number of issues in relation to the 2024 general elections. Key amongst them is the fear of a plot to rig the elections. Communications officer of the party, Sami Jemfi, alleges that the NPP has employed the services of a military official to help them rig the election.
Take charge of a well-crafted scheme that has been designed by the NPP to rig the upcoming elections, particularly in the Ashanti region. Through ballot stuffing, swapping of ballot boxes, swapping of pink sheets, and other clandestine activities, starting with a special voting exercise scheduled for December 2nd of this year.
Although he failed to provide evidence to this when he was pushed by the media, he said the party has enough intelligence in its possession to back the claim. He adds that they will in the coming days petition the Inspector General of Police to investigate the matter.
We will be petitioning the IGP because he's the chairman of the Election Security Task Force. We will also be drawing the attention of the CDS to these developments officially, but not just him. Our external developmental partners will also be notified. And so the observers will be notified, the foreign missions will be notified.
But Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba, has refuted the allegations, insisting no military official has been employed to rig the elections in favor of the NPP.
Well, the specific answer to your question is no. He is not working with the New Patriotic Party. He's not part of our campaign. And so, therefore, we have not contracted him to do any such job that the NDC is crying about.
On the safety of citizens during the elections, the NDC says the IGP and the Ghana Police Service must ensure that no life is lost in the process.
Elections are about counting heads and not cutting heads. No single person in Ghana must lose their life because of an election. Because this is about the people's free will to decide for themselves those they deem fit to lead them. The IGP owes a duty to the people of Ghana to be firm and fair-minded to ensure peace during and after the December 7th elections. In this regard, we in the NDC assure him of our fullest cooperation.
The party is hopeful that their concerns will be addressed ahead of the elections. James Savage's report for Joy News.
And we're still staying on the campaign trail. We'll hear from the Electoral Commission pretty shortly. They've been speaking about the concerns about potential rigging. They're dismissing emphatically that anybody can rig the elections. We'll hear from the Deputy Commissioner pretty shortly.
And that interview is coming up this evening on PM Express. That's interaction you've been having with him. We'll bring you details of that. We'll hit the campaign trail, and the former Eastern Regional Minister under the John Mahama administration, Mavis Amafrimpong, has accused the NPP presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, of adopting NDC ideas in rewriting his party's manifesto. He's been speaking in an interview with Joy News.
He's talking about he's rewriting the manifesto in such a way that when President John Dramani Mahama talked about Mahama Care, creating a fund, Ghana Medical Trust Fund, now Vice President Bawumia says that on the 1st of December, he's going to give free access to dialysis. How many people will be able to access it? Why now? Bawumia, why now? MPP, why now?
Meanwhile, addressing party supporters on day 2 of his tour of the Eastern region, John Dramani Mahama says the Black Stars' poor performance is reflective of the general decline in the country's state under the current administration.
10 years and Afibia, African Cup of Nations.
For the past 20 years, the Black Stars always made it to the AFCON. But what we have witnessed is the abysmal performance of the Black Stars. This is the first time they will not be making a showing at the African Cup of Nations. It is embarrassing for the state. The Black Stars since 1981 has been impressive on the field. Their only challenge is lifting the trophy when they get to the finals. Now every team is able to trust the Black Stars. This is a reflection of the bad state of affairs in the country.
Well, after the camp of the NPP, and we know that it's been 15 days in the Ashanti region, it comes to an end.
Well, it has come to an end, and that tour, 15 long days, where he interacted with thousands of supporters, religious and traditional leaders, and other major stakeholders. The tour, we began on November 4, saw Dr. Bawumia visit all 47 constituencies in the region, where he outlined his vision for Ghana's development and listened to the concerns of the people. We can listen to special aide of the MPP presidential candidate, MP for Laura constituency, Anthony Abayifa-Kabo, who says the Ashanti tour has been a huge success.
What is next for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia right after completing his 15-day tour of the Ashanti region today?
We're going to head back to the north. We're going to head back to the north to finish up some of the constituencies, and we're going to be going around the country again. We're going to be running through the country once more, and we're not done until we're done.
The Vice President is not done with his tour so far.
We're not done with our tour at all. We are in it till the last day. You know, that is the type of energy, that's the type of drive that the candidate has garnered, and all of us on the team, like you've seen in the bus, we're all ready for the roller coaster. I mean.
Meanwhile, just 18 days to the polls, Dr. Bawumia continues to challenge John Dramani Mahama to a presidential debate.
We have done better. Enti diaba na odeba. Mebisa no say. Onchirayen adie baako a obeyeye as president or vice president. Eddie Infaswo, Ebre Ghana for Adia Baku, Enyamieno, Messi Bakupe, went to me, Bakupe, went to me. Or see on it, why Juma senior, Messi Uji Uhundia, so why Juma, Bra, Nayanya debate, one on one, Bra, Nayanya debate.
And his running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, is also challenging young people to choose a president who can be a father to them in the upcoming polls. He's been interacting at a UPSA chapter of TESCON when they gathered to meet him.
For me, let me tell you a fact. The future doesn't belong to me because I am current. The future doesn't belong to Dr. Bawumia because he is current. He is the one that is going to lead you into the future. So check all the presidential candidates. Take their picture. Go and look at their video posts. Watch them closely. Watch them closely. All of them. I think they are 30 or 30 minus 1 or something. Check all of them and ask yourself, who can be my father?
So that's Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Well, the running mate for the NDC candidate, Professor Jane Nano Opoku-Agyeman, is also lashing out at the MPP for channeling development only to communities that they believe voted for them.
We know you will deliver him back to Parliament, and we'll be very happy that that is done. But there's one thing I need to explain, and that is that unlike the NDC, that takes care of everybody, our opponents don't necessarily do so. They have already told us about people who don't vote for them and for which reason they don't pay attention to them. So what this means is that our PCs have suffered for 8 years. It means that whatever they could have done has been denied them because they voted for the NDC. This will not stop any of them or any of us from voting for a government that brings interventions such as the road you have requested for everybody's benefit.
And you want to catch PM Express tonight at 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel, also on all our social media platforms for that interview with Dr. Bosman Asare on the preparedness of the Electoral Commission ahead of the polls, 18 days to go. But it's time for the gigs.
Hi, Emefa.
Hi, what's up? What are we talking about tonight?
Elections is upcoming, and so we want to check the promises that have been made concerning different tech things that are going to be done, digitization and all that. So, yeah, we want to just check what's in it for us as citizens, just to dive deeper into the manifesto that has been given.
There's one thing I heard from Bawumia yesterday. I think he says that they would abolish import duties on phones. Maybe I can finally buy an iPhone.
Is that what will make you buy an iPhone?
It's like I said, I can't afford one. So
There are a number of apps also that they've been talking about. So I'm waiting to hear how feasible
you have to join us. Sure.
Waiting. And that's it for Newsnight. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu.
Hi, my name is Evan Spencer. Enjoy the rest of your evening.